All right, so today we're gonna go over some the strategies that I've been exploring, and one strategy that might be a very consistent strategy. As you know, in the past entries, I've been exploring multiple strategies, trying to find an edge in the market. And recently, it's been a very good week to test some different strategies just because of the state of the market. Because the key to a strategy is for it to work in a bad market as well. You don't want it to rely um, on a good market. Then what happens if we're in a recession? Then I can't trade for 12 months or longer than a year. So right now is a good time. We had a pretty bad market, downtrending, and I was able to test the strategy, and it continued to work. And right now, I've seen very consistent results with this. I've seen a constant 10% profit margin, and uh, and it's been consistent with what I've had. Obviously, I've only had like a little bit of experience with this, but we'll go. Let's jump in and start exploring what exactly this is. We're here on Thinkorswim, and I'm looking at a stock called STMP. And basically, as I discussed last time, I was exploring the gap down strategy. And here, let me take you through actually. So if I open up my actually, this is my traded journal. Sorry. If I open my gap down. So basically, what I see, this is the green means tradable and red means not tradable, and that's what this represents over here. So obviously, this shows okay. There was a chance to profit 10%, 10%, 7%. You could have profited that much, but it was unpredictable. So let me give you an example of this. Let's pick out a stock like XENT. So if we go into the 5-day, we see this run up, but we don't know when this is gonna happen. We can't ever tell. Like obviously, every time a stock gaps down, there will be opportunity for profit in the long, if you try to go long. But what I've seen during gap down is that you can never predict when the recovery is gonna happen. But something that I have found consistent is that if we stick to this, is the second day. After a gap down, the second day, I always see a recovery. What happens is it sells off, hits resistance, and then it goes up for the rest of the day. And I've seen this consistently. I call it the day two gap down. So if I go to my other spreadsheet, so I have my trading journal over there, and this is a day two gap down recovery. That's what I call it. It's a mouthful, but I've only tracked 5, and they've all worked well. So basically, let's go over this. So over here we have the earnings that were expected and the actual earnings. So over here we have the same earnings, a little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little bit lower. And you can all see it's only a little bit. If it's too much, I feel like it won't be able to recover, but we'll see that in the future. And this, I don't see any correlation here. I don't see any correlation here. But if you look at market open, the market open, market close is ridiculous. It's always up, and but the main thing is the low of the day and the high day is always around 10%, from 8 to 10% always. And what I've noticed is it always tends to drop at the beginning, as you can see, small drop, and then it starts to make higher highs for the rest of the day. So let's go through each of these stocks individually. Let's go to STMP. This is where I actually put money into this one. So we have a drop, and then the next day we have a consistent recovery. We didn't see an initial drop here though. So we just see a higher highs and higher highs until it hits this resistance over here. And I sold out, I think, right over here somewhere. And I made a consistent, I sold out at 40.36. Yeah, so I entered somewhere over here and sold out over here. A great 10% profit. And then if we go to the next one, it is sale. And sale, we see the same thing. We see a move and then a drop, initial drop right there. Oops. Let's go. We see a drop and then over here, and then it kind of hits this resistance. So it's a very good 10% profit. And I think that 10%, 8% to 10% is going to be like my target, so that I can time my exit really well, because I know it's only going to recover about 10% during the day two. So I won't expect it to go anymore, and I'll leave with my 10% profit, which is very significant. I think with 10% you can literally double your money in like 8 or 9 days, which is ridiculous. And that is if this is consistent. We're going to see in the future. I don't want to be too optimistic. And then let's go to XCNT. I already showed you this. You see, and look, this is another thing I want to talk about. Day 3, we also see run-ups. But the thing is that with day 3, it's not as consistent. We don't see it all the time. We'll see it occasionally, but we won't see it all the time. But day 2, there's always an initial drop and then higher highs until it hits resistance. And again, this is a 10% profit. And then NVTA. And the best part about this is that I was able to test it, like I said before, in a bad market. And let me just show you. Okay, day 2, same thing. It'll drop, higher highs. And these are all on different days. It's not just the market. So if we look at SPY, the S&P index, we see that we've been experiencing a terrible market, like a straight downtrend over here. And yet we were able to still see this type of stuff on. And then last one, just INGN. And same thing. We see like a consolidation over here, and then a slow first a drop, and then a slow recovery of higher highs. That's pretty much it. I'm hoping this is a viable strategy. I'm gonna keep trying to experience with criteria. The first criteria that I'm seeing basically is that this earnings percentage means the difference between what the actual earnings and the expectations. And I'm seeing a pretty low earnings difference. Like I said before, I think if the earnings difference is too high, it might not be able to recover just because the amount of people selling out. And the thing about day 2 is that our volume is still high and we'll be able to sell out easier. That's pretty much it. We're gonna keep exploring the strategy throughout this next week, and we'll see the viability of it. That's pretty much it. And I'm gonna update the Robinhood portfolio hopefully middle of this week, end of next week. We'll see. All right, peace.